media, and one of the things that I love to do around Adams County is meet new people, find out who they are and what they do. Today, I'm at Strawberry Hill, located in Hamilton Band Township. This is the only nonprofit environmental education organization in all of Adams County. So join me today at Strawberry Hill while I discover everything they do. Dan, it is so good to meet you as I'm walking around Strawberry Hill. This place is amazing. So can you tell me who you are and what you do here?
Sure, I'm Dan Brannon, the Executive Director of Strawberry Hill. So I kind of oversee all the operations. I work with a small team of Ann, my Director of Environmental Education, and naturalists. And Amanda Markle runs our kind of business operations on a part-time level. And I work with board members and volunteers. So I kind of jack of all trades, right.
This is beautiful. I'll get back to the volunteers in a second, but what is the mission of Strawberry Hill?
So Strawberry Hill was founded in 1986, and it really had a twofold mission, and still does. But at one point in time, we owned 600 acres. We did sell about 580 acres to Michoud State Forest so they can forever preserve it, so that we have a 35-acre campus, and we provide environmental education. So we preserve these 35 acres to provide the education to families, the community, to kids. So our core mission really is to work with, on a hands-on, place-based, to come out here to Strawberry Hill, although we will go to you as well to actually provide programming. We want people to come out here and experience nature, especially kids, because the connection we all have to nature occurs mostly in the realm of emotional intelligence, and that occurs very young in our life. So being out and about in nature and getting that opportunity, our goal is that not just do the kids and families and people have fun, but also they become the next generation of stewards for the environment. As you know, there's a lot of things going on in the world in terms of climate. So we want them to enjoy what's actually in their backyard, and Strawberry Hill has been in their backyard since 1986.
Can we walk a little bit on these well-maintained trails? Let me ask, who can be a part of Strawberry Hill? Is this volunteer? Is this free to the public? And what are your hours? What are your seasons?
Sure.
I want to be here as much as possible,
Absolutely.
so I want to figure this out.
So Strawberry Hill is a private nonprofit organization. Nearly 100% of all of our donations the money that we utilize to run Strawberry Hill comes from people in the community. So you can either donate to Strawberry Hill, you can volunteer at Strawberry Hill, help us maintain the campus and our trails, and you can also come for very affordable paid programming. So we are funded by people who pay for our programming and by donors who live in the community.
It would be free to come for the day by yourself or with your family and enjoy those 35 acres. I could volunteer throughout the year, and I could be part of paid organizations, donations, and sponsorship to help keep this program going.
Absolutely. The one thing that we want, we are really part of the community. Any nonprofit really is kind of, quote, owned by the community. And so we're here for the community, and we are the community. So Strawberry Hill is not just a group of small individuals who love the environment. It really has been something that the community of Adams County has cherished, for over 35 years.
This, I can't say it enough, is so beautiful, calming, and relaxing. Show me your favorite spot here at Strawberry Hill.
So probably, I have lots of favorite spots. So the cool thing about Strawberry Hill is it's very diverse, even on our 35 acres. We have two exceptional value streams, Middle Creek Stream and Swamp Creek. We have a pond. We have this coniferous forest we're standing in right now, this pine forest. We have a wetlands area. We have, of course, hardwood areas. But my favorite probably is right around the pond, but right here in these tall pine trees. There's something about the pine needles on the ground and the kind of the open space that we have here before we enter into just the smaller areas of different kind of trees. So I really love the pine forest part of Strawberry Hill.
I do too. The aroma is outstanding. Let me ask you, you mentioned about the streams and pond. Why are streams so important in our environment right now to keep healthy and maintain?
So our streams right here, some streams in Adams County actually are part of a different watershed. They're part of the Susquehanna River watershed. Ours, which all ultimately empty into the Chesapeake Bay, our streams down here in the southern part of Adams County and here in Fairfield, they actually go into the Potomac watershed. The Potomac watershed goes into Chesapeake Bay watershed. It's so important to keep things clean this high level up as they travel so that we can keep all of them actually very clean water, but also especially when it gets down into the Chesapeake Bay watershed area. The Chesapeake Bay is one of a kind on Earth, and over time as people have built up, especially around areas like Baltimore and Washington, D.C. and all of Northern Virginia, it's been much more difficult to keep it clean. So efforts have been made over the last 3 decades to really work on that. And so when we can work on it this far away, it just creates healthier water as it goes downstream ultimately into the Chesapeake Bay.
So Strawberry Hill is pivotal in that climate resource.
Yes, this region right here is pivotal because we're some of the further away from the Chesapeake Bay, but our waters go down into that watershed. Sometimes, you know, if you've ever driven and you're going across the turnpike driving west, you'll see about halfway through the state of Pennsylvania leaving the Chesapeake Bay watershed. That's how far away these streams and rivers run and actually end up into the Chesapeake Bay. So it's important in this whole region to keep the water as clean as possible.
I have never thought of that. So being educated is the first step. And speaking of that, you are going to introduce me to Anna in the education department. You want to go there now?
Sure, we'll head over there and you can meet Ann.
Okay.
Here's our nature classroom, and I'd like to hand you off and introduce you to Ann, our Director of Environmental Education.
Hi, so
Hey.
good to meet you.
Welcome, I'm Ann. I'm the Director of Environmental Education. This is our nature classroom behind us, but I'd rather take you out on the trail and show you what we really do.
I'd rather go there too right now.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Let's go.
So one of the reasons I said I'd rather be on this trail than in a classroom, because it's so incredibly beautiful. And this kind of is a classroom.
Nature is the best classroom. And out here at Strawberry Hill, we provide that authentic hands-on learning experience for kids. So we work primarily with homeschool groups, public and private schools. All of our programs are designed to immerse kids in the nature experience. And also our content is designed around Pennsylvania Department of Education standards. So we help support education standards while giving kids that access to nature that a lot of times kids don't always have, because maybe they're growing up in an apartment building, or perhaps they just don't get outside much, but we give them that experience here.
There is no better way to learn than visually, sensory, touch and feel, and really absorb your environment. We all learn in so many different ways, and being in the environment you're learning about, and aesthetically it's so pleasing and stunning and it feels good. So I can imagine this is a hit with kids. How many kids a year go through your program?
A couple thousand. Wow. We get a lot of kids that come through here. We get a lot of field trips, especially in the spring. We also work with Outdoor School in conjunction with Camp Bader. So we get a lot of kids out here, and it's pretty amazing.
I talked earlier with Dan about the importance of streams and ponds and how they feed into a larger water source, and starting young, learning about conservation, environment, and our climate. Are you teaching that as well at such a young age?
We are. We really focus on environmental literacy. We believe not only is nature the best classroom, but that emotional connection to a topic such as environmental literacy really helps build that conservation mindset from an early age, even starting as early as pre-K.
And it changes rapidly. So a decade ago, what we were learning in schools or even on site, you're keeping up with the constant changes.
We are constantly learning, we're constantly growing, and we're always adapting our programs to meet education standards and new science that comes out.
Well, I'm thrilled to be here. I think you mentioned earlier that there's a teacher here that might be able to show us a little bit more.
We do. We have a very special teacher, and I'd love for you to get to meet him.
Let's go do that right now.
Okay.
So Anna, you have a very important guest that you've brought along today. Tell us who he is, what type of bird, and why is he so important to Strawberry Hill?
This is Strix. Strix is one of our animal ambassadors. He's really important to us because he helps teach the community about indicator species and the health of an ecosystem. Plus, it's pretty amazing to get to see an owl up close. It's not an encounter people tend to have. And he is such a beautiful bird. He's watching you.
He is watching me.
Okay.
Does he turn his head the full way? Is that true? Do they do that?
He turns his head about 280 degrees, 270 degrees.
And what do they prey on? What is their food source, and is it abundant here currently?
He will feed on everything from mice and shrews and voles to crayfish. Crayfish are actually one of his favorites.
So being in the wild, they would come to a pond area like this, or
Not
stream?
A stream. But they would only stick to very shallow streams because they have a tendency to drown. They're not very good swimmers. So he would stick to very shallow areas, but shallow areas where he could grab a crayfish easily.
Strawberry Hill has an abundant amount of daytime activity. I hear the bugs, we're seeing the birds, some bunnies. This guy is nocturnal, so Strawberry Hill at night is also very, very important for the environment and what goes on here. Tell us a little bit about some nighttime activity.
Well, actually, you will hear him in the late afternoon talking to his friends. So if you're here around 3, 4 p.m., you'll actually hear him speaking to friends out here in the trees behind us. But you're frequently going to see little brown bats flying by. You'll hear lots of cicadas. You'll hear lots of activity going on, but you'll definitely hear him speaking to his friends.
Who are his friends?
Oh, more owls.
More
owls.
Friends, and they speak back and forth. Do they travel in groups? Are they solitaire?
They tend to be pretty solitary, but they tend to mate for life, is my understanding. So I'm not sure if he's maybe speaking to a former mate, because he is from this area. He was found in Michaud State Forest. Or if he is simply speaking to other owls, we're not really sure, because we don't really know much about him because he was wild-born. He was injured, we believe, by a vehicle and taken to a rehabber before he came to Strawberry Hill. So we don't know much about his origin story.
And he's been here how many years again?
Since, I believe, 2018, a couple years.
He's a resident here, and visitors can come by and see him when they visit the visitor center where you're at. And if he's not out and about, there's plenty of photos of this guy to get to know him.
Yep. And we go out into the community and do animal ambassador programs. We do programs at the local library now and then. We do programs for schools, homeschool groups. I'm not sure if he will be at Pippin Fest this year, but he does sometimes go to other events with us. So there are also other opportunities out in the community in which to meet him.
And your glove that you're wearing is because of the talons, and
Yes.
that's the primary way for his hunting.
Yes, his talons can be very sharp along with his beak. So I have a special raptor glove. I would not want to hold him with my bare hands.
I don't think so. Well, he's absolutely beautiful, and I hear you're single, so, let me know.
He loves his time out here at the pond. If we sit down for a few minutes, he'll start to fall asleep. It's one of his favorite places.
This is gorgeous. The environment is lovely. The sun is shining, and the sounds of nature are just so calming and soothing. So even if you're not a raptor, coming here and relaxing, I would fall asleep as well. Thank you for spending this time with me. And I have to tell you, out of everything, I think Professor Strix is my favorite.
He's pretty amazing.
He is. Tell me, what is the future of Strawberry Hill's education organization, and how do families, children get involved?
So we've actually been working over the past year on realigning all of our programs to meet the new content standards through the Pennsylvania Department of Ed that just dropped that involve environmental literacy and sustainability. So we've really been shifting our focus to help meet that. But along with that, we've also been building a lot of family programs for kids and families to come in that are free. So kids can come in for field trips and get that environmental literacy aspect, but they can also just come for a fun time. Wednesday, we actually had a full moon campfire. That was a lot of fun. We do full moon hikes pretty much every month. So there are a lot of different ways that families can get involved.
And I do notice you do have a bulletin board of events and activities on your website. Where can people go to find that?
They can go to strawberryhill.org, but also follow us on social media because I frequently post about our upcoming events on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook.
So people can come here just for the day with their families. Kids can join free activities. Schools, homeschool, and organizations can be a part of the programming for ongoing education and environmental awareness. And this is where they get to be in the classroom. And this is all year?
This is all year. We are open 365 days. Well, I won't say that because we do close for things like New Year's. However, families could still come in if they want to be here in the snow. They can go for hikes in the snow.
Awesome. This is just wonderful. I cannot thank you enough. I'm so impressed with what you're doing for the education for the youth and adults. So you are definitely going to see me back, especially on another full moon hike.
I know, I would love for you to come out. There's so much fun.
You might not get me to leave. Are tents allowed?
Tents are not allowed. However, if you really do love this place, the other thing you could do is sign up for our Trailblazers. That's our maintenance crew. They come in and help us with trail building. They help us with trail cleanup. We recently built a bridge. We do a lot of cool stuff around here.
I saw the bridge. So I just go on your website to sign up for that as well and
Yep.
become a Trailblazer.
Yep. You could become one of the official Trailblazers here at Strawberry Hill.
I'll be right back.
Don't forget, education is fun.
So is volunteering. Thank you so much for having me here today. I loved meeting Ann, learning all about the Education Center, learning about the 35 acres here on Strawberry Hill. Tell me before I go, what is the future of Strawberry Hill?
So the future of Strawberry Hill really is to continue to enact our vision, and that is to really provide top-notch environmental education, especially for kids, but also for the older and kids at heart, so that we can actually ensure that there will be future generations that want to protect and understand the environment better. So our goal is to continue to maintain our property, to develop new programs, and to stay vital and to have the input from the community on what they would like to have here. You know, it's a balance that we have in today's world with all of the phones and tablets that kids can go on, and families have a lot of access to other recreation that they're involved in. We really want to work with people so you understand that you can come out and see this very serene area and become a lot more connected to life than you can on your phone. You can be that much more connected here in the forest.
I think it's incredibly important, and with the education, we definitely want to get the youth involved, but I can tell you, even older kids like myself, learning about the environment, how to protect it and be a part of it can start at any age and continue through the generations. So I cannot thank you enough for allowing me to be a part of this, and you're gonna see me around here volunteering, cleaning up these trails and popping in and out of that education center. So again, thank you so much. And if it's okay, I'm gonna take a few more laps around this beautiful
Sure, enjoy.
town. Thank
We'll love
you.
to have you back.
Great,
Thanks.
thanks. Thank you for joining me today while I learned everything Strawberry Hill. Don't forget, your contributions, whether that's volunteering, signing up for classes, or donations, are going to help keep this alive and thriving for generations to come. Nonprofit organizations of Adams County help make our community safe, vibrant, and thriving through compassion.